tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradham and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron and Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater, and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all pen zippy. I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing. Hurry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradham in the morning. Marques and Justin, Emery.
Yo.
So the NBA Finals underway. Game 1 in the books. Strange one in San Francisco.
A tale of two games in the second half.
Yeah. Well, so the first possession, right off the bat, the first possession, I'm going to be watching, and, you know, I feel like a lot of people who watch basketball closely do this anyway, but it's a really interesting series to pay attention. What's happening off the ball? This is a series you want to watch what's going on off the ball, especially when Golden State's on offense. The first possession in the first quarter, first thing I watched was I saw Marcus Smart on Steph Curry, and he did a great job passing Steph Curry off to Jaylen Brown on the switch. And I was like, this is what I was talking about. Looked over to him, I was like, this is going to be the problem. All of that in the first quarter went out the window after that possession. It was the strangest thing. They defended him worse in the first quarter than I've seen many teams defend Steph Curry, which I was like, what is happening here? What are they doing? They gave up at least 3 open threes. And when a guy like him, a guy like that who, I mean, he was the greatest shooter ever, but good shooters, the last thing in the world you want them to do is get in a rhythm. So when you get a guy like that in a rhythm, then he can make those tough shots, and it just makes it harder for you. So you look up, he has 6 threes in the first quarter, but then you look down, they're only down 4. 32-28 in the first quarter, and Steph Curry goes off for 21, 6 threes. So you're like, okay. Couple points in the second quarter where it looked like things were falling apart. Warriors get up by double digits, go up by 10. But then the Celtics come storming right back, and they go up by halftime. They're up by 2 at halftime. Interesting. And you saw in the second quarter what I was saying going in this series that, you know, I thought Boston could do to the Warriors that the Warriors have never seen. They put Steph Curry in prison in the second quarter. He did a bid. And they did the same thing basically with basically the entire team. After that, after Golden State goes up by 10, they clamped them down. And the idea that a team can take the Warriors and make them offensively irrelevant for minutes at a time is something the Warriors have not really had during this run. Listen, to win a championship in the NBA, in any sport, you got to be good, but you also got to be a little lucky. And we got to be honest about the Golden State Warriors and the things they have avoided to get this dynasty going. Remember, they did not have to deal with San Antonio Spurs. The one time they did is when Kawhi Leonard gets hurt and severely sprains his ankle when the Spurs were up 20 and they were out. They didn't have to deal with those really good Clippers teams because they couldn't figure out how to get past the Spurs and other squads. You have Houston, have them up. They're going back to Houston for a Game 7. Chris Paul with his hamstring. We don't know how that turns out. Oklahoma City Thunder have them up 3-1, and they throw up on themselves, and they lose that series. And then Kevin Durant leaves Oklahoma City and comes to the Warriors, which was extremely, I would say, strategic by the Warriors to get him over there, because I think we all know if he stays there and they get another crack at it, they probably take out that Warriors team at some point in the next couple of years. It's just that they were able to lure him over to the other side, which, you know, you can debate that and debate whether they should have done it or not. But the Warriors have been fortunate to avoid some of these certain matchups and things. Well, now they're in a matchup that obviously can't avoid this one. And it's, going into the series, I thought it was one that definitely did not favor them for these reasons. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust. And also, too, Boston wins this game on a fourth quarter where they outscore the Warriors 40-16. 40-16. They shot 15 for 22.
That's the biggest disparity in a fourth quarter in NBA Finals history.
Big Al goes off. Big Al goes off for six threes.
Can we pause on him for a minute and just discuss Al Horford for a second?
Yeah, the mystery is Al Horford.
Was he a double agent while he was here for the Celtics?
Here's what I feel happened here. I don't feel like and this has been discussed and talked about at nauseam.
Is it just as
it was a terrible fit? No. I'm gonna rephrase that. It wasn't a bad fit, and Brett Brown admitted to this. Brett Brown did not do a great job coaching that year. To be fair to Brett Brown, I think he was sabotaged a little bit because that style of team that they constructed was not a team that he knew how to coach. Like Brett Brown was not built to coach a team like that. And
the way that I look at it is that, it may not have been the best fit, but you know what would have made the fit better? If Horford would have hit 75% of his 3-pointers, that would have made the fit better.
Yeah. I mean,
it wasn't just so much that, though. It looked like Horford was cooked. Right.
Well, I think what happened was he didn't like the way he was being used in the offense. And the body language showed. And he wasn't. I mean, you look at Horford is a guy now that he does all the dirty stuff. Let him get down there, bang, do the dirty stuff. And yeah, he could pop out for a three. He could do that. Now, listen, last night he went absolutely bananas. He's not going to.
That's an anomaly. That's not.
Yeah, that's not like Al Horford. He's going to shoot probably about 3 or 4 threes a game, and he'll hit one. Maybe if he shoots 6, he hits 2. He's not going to shoot the way he did last night. But that's what they wanted him to do here. They wanted him to be a guy that spaced the floor. And yeah, he can knock down a 3, but he's not a floor spacer. That's not what he does. And like it also goes without saying that when you're more comfortable in an environment, you're going to play better. He's comfortable in Boston. I'm sure he never wanted to leave Boston. So he's back home, and he looks right in the jersey. Like it all makes sense. You know what I mean? Like this is the Al Horford that we saw 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The nightmare that he caused against Sixers in that playoff series. So anyway, if you're a Warriors fan, man, you should be terrified. Jason Tatum only scores 12 points last night, and you lose by double digits. And again, they have that ability to stifle any offense for minutes at a time, where you just don't score. And they have and on the other side, offensively, they can match the Warriors' offense because they have so many guys that can score. Derek White kept them in the game for a long period of time yesterday. He had a really good game. Jaylen Brown played really well yesterday. Jason Tatum did not, but that's okay. You can get away with that in the game because you have guys that can make shots, and they had guys making shots last night that were not Jason Tatum. So listen, it was. I think Kevin Durant cheated it out. I guess he's a Brad Emery fan. He was saying this is high class basketball. Yep. Kevin Durant says, and it was. It was a fun game. The fourth quarter, the comeback was even fun because it wasn't like it was a blowout either way for most of the majority of the game. It was highly functioning basketball. I'm looking forward to this for the rest of the series. But interesting to see, because here's the thing about the Warriors too that's interesting is that what adjustments over the years have they really had to make? Like they've been so light years ahead.
Drafting, that's about it.
Right. They've been so light years ahead of everyone when it comes to their scheme and the way they use their guys. They really haven't had to make adjustments. Like Steve Kerr hasn't been put in a position in a series where he's had to make major adjustments. They just roll it out and say, okay, even if they have a bad game, it's like, all right, they're not going to do it to us again. You can't say that to series. It's not a statement you can make to series. They can do this to you again. And if you're careful, if you're not careful, you could be going back to TD Garden 0-2 because again, their best player gave you 12 points, and that's not going to happen on Sunday. So you're going to have to account for when you have superstars. You have to account for that game where the superstars go crazy and the superstars go nuts. You got to account for that game. I'm not saying it's going to be game 2, but Tatum obviously now is due to have a good game. He's going to get you at least 25 in game 2. So if you're a Warriors supporter, this should definitely be a cause for pause. Boston. Now, what I want to see going forward, and what I was worried about is even though I feel like Boston's the better team, the one thing I was worried about was how will Boston perform down the stretch in a tight game? They haven't had that yet. Obviously, it's one game. They haven't had that yet. They haven't had to perform yet in that tight game and make those decisions because the game was pretty comfortable down the stretch. Like they went on a nice run from the 8-minute mark to about the 4-minute mark, where the game wasn't really competitive that last 3 minutes. You knew the outcome that last 3 minutes of the game. So what's going to happen when it's tied, down 2, up 2, that last 3 minutes? How's that going to look? What's that going to be? Because there's no way in the world it's going to be like this. Obviously, there's going to be some close games in this series when it comes down to that, and that's what I'm interested to see is how that's going to look.
Yeah, I mean, I think Clay had 3 threes. Actually, I know for a fact he did because I had him at plus money to hit 4. Mm-hmm. So I know for a fact he only got 3. Like you said, this game, I still like Warriors to win. Mathematically, I have to get a sweep to continue with my Warriors in 5 claim.
Mm-hmm.
I might move the goalpost a little bit and say Warriors in 6 now, and while the fourth quarter was eye-opening, I still stand by what I said. The Warriors are going to win this series.
Okay. Just looking at some Marcus Smart, 18 gets you 18.
For the sake of sticking with my picks, I'm still going to say Warriors in 5, even though I know mathematically I'm up against it right now. But for the sake of staying with my original pick, I'm still saying Warriors in 5. But logically, I think it's going to be Warriors in 6. Still, I still see them because they will win a game in Boston.
I don't know. I mean that's the thing. I don't know about that.
Yes,
because here's what because Boston is a really really tough place to play.
Yeah, but here's
and they play
is Marcus Smart going to have one of his my knee hurts games?
Well, that's why going into the series. That's why I said is I thought Rob Williams III's health was crucial to them beating the Heat. And I feel like Marcus Smart's health is crucial to them beating the Warriors. He has to be Marcus Smart. He has to be healthy. He has to be able to chase Steph around, and that he was able to do that last night for spurts. Now, see, he's going to take a lot of flack for some of those threes, but that was, if you're paying attention, a lot of those threes, like, bro, that used to drive me crazy. When you got a shooter out there and your center or your big guy, you get picked and they don't step up. I was yelling, step up. What are you doing? And then a couple times, it should be illegal to play drop coverage on Steph Curry. It should literally be illegal. Why in the world would you ever, every time in a pick and roll, I'm blitzing. Every time. It's no way. I am never, ever playing drop coverage on Steph Curry. Never. It's not Pat Bev out there. It's Steph Curry. It's the greatest shooter in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
Drop coverage on him. It's ridiculous. And that happened once or twice. In the first quarter, it was almost like they had no idea who he was. But he hit a 3 where he basically walked into it, and they all were backpedaling and then looking around confused why no one stepped up. You can't do, and he hits that 3. I was like, okay, he's about to go off right now because now he's in a rhythm. Now he sits down at the end of the first quarter for about 4 minutes. So then it settled the game down big time. And when he comes back in, he's trying to find that rhythm again. But by that point, they had figured out defensively what to do with him. So yeah, it was. But so Marcus, like I'm not gonna say Marcus Smart is gonna take a lot of people. Oh man, Steph Curry lit. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's getting picked. Guys weren't stepping up, helping him out. And like to defend a guy like Steph Curry, it takes a village. There's a village to raise a child. It takes a village to defend Steph Curry. Like you need everybody. It's an all hands on deck situation with any shooter, especially Steph Curry, but with any great shooter, everybody needs to be activated. Everybody, especially when the Warriors play offense, because you know Steph is in phenomenal shape. He's going to run all around that court till he gets to a spot that you're not there. So you got to make sure defensively that you are communicating, talking constantly. It should be a constant conversation guarding the Golden State Warriors. Everybody should be communicating. And they kind of figured that out. You know, I think actually they caught Marcus Smart saying on when he was wired, this is the Miami Heat, which is Miami Heat's always catching strays. I don't know why that is. They're always catching strays. But he's right, it isn't. Because with Miami, you literally, for the most part, didn't have to worry about their backcourt. That's not the strength of their squad. You need to worry about their backcourt. Lowry's out there on one leg for most of the series, and Strus and Vincent aren't scaring anybody. Where you got to worry about the backcourt here. It's a big time. You should be worried about their backcourt. So I think even though it's one of those things where even though they knew, obviously you're playing the Warriors, you know it's about, they had to get used to that speed and everything in that first quarter, and they adjusted. And they were like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And they did it. And you know, so, but yeah, I mean, this is the matchup again that I wanted. And I mean, so far, so good.
Speaking about the Miami Heat, I got to tell you a story that happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
So it's last night. It's after dinner before the game starts, 7:30, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, let me go out and dash for a little bit, see if I can make a couple dollars, before the game starts. So I go into a particular restaurant. I don't want to put that place on blast because they hire interesting employees, but I go in.
Okay.
And the guy at the I go up, you've done it. You go up to the counter. Yeah, I'm here for blah, blah, blah order.
Right.
The guy goes, all right, yeah, no problem. Be a minute. We're just, putting everything together. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So I go, you excited for the game tonight? Because I can hear him talking. He goes, yeah. Go, all right, nice. Who you got? Who you like? He goes, the Miami Heat. So I just stood there for a second. I go, okay. I asked the question again. I go, who do you got? He goes, the Heat. I got the Miami Heat. They're going to win tonight. So I go, Heat aren't playing. He's like, what do you mean the Heat aren't playing?
Did you let him know?
Well,
let him down?
Well, no, he goes, what do you mean the Heat aren't playing? He goes, they're playing the Celtics. I'm like, no, man, that series is over. He goes, oh, well, who's on tonight then?
Oh, man. Who's on tonight?
I go, Celtics Warriors. This man goes, all right, Celtics sweep. I was like, Celtics are going to sweep. He goes, yeah. He goes, they dispatched of the Heat. Now they're going to sweep the Warriors. And the only thing that went through my head is, man, you didn't know that.
Yeah, you just made the decision in the past 5 seconds. You didn't know the dispatch of the Heat.
No, as I walked away, so as I walked away, I'm like, all right, this guy's nuts. I get in the car. Even Sarah knows who's playing.
Right.
So I called her and I told her. And I just sat there and I was like, this man's opinion is immediately invalid now. Like anything you had to say about anything, I can't trust that. Like you've now made yourself irrelevant.
Yeah. I always think.
How would you have done that? What would you have said in that situation? I thought I handled it pretty well.
Yeah. I don't get when I see someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. I don't add on. Like I was like, okay.
Yeah, all right, I'll get out of here.
All right, the Heat's gonna win. Okay.
Give me my.
But like I was thinking about how you're talking. Like, what's worse? Like the person who doesn't know anything about sports and like you can't talk to them about them. Period. Or the person that thinks they know about sports and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Can I add a third category? So like, you know how like you have the Venn diagrams, like you have one circle over here.
Mm-hmm.
People that don't know sports at all.
Yeah.
And over here, people that think they know sports, but they don't really know. So you have the two circles.
Yeah.
Well, the worst person is in the middle of the two. You know how?
Yeah, I know. I got you.
And that's my dad.
Papa Emery's just right in the middle there.
He has a lot of very interesting sports opinions, most of which I usually don't share on the show because but I have to share a take that he had with me the other day.
Okay.
This will explain. So, me and him were going back and forth about the Phillies. Pretty much everything I said on the show the other day, I was saying to him for the most part.
Yeah.
This is sometime last week, and he's like, okay, yeah, blah blah. He's like, yeah, they're messed up, blah blah blah, all that.
Right.
I go, yeah, well. We somehow get on the topic of the A's leaving Oakland because they're going to move to Vegas. It's like the worst kept secret in baseball. The A's are going to move to Vegas within the next 2 or 3 years. So we somehow got on the topic of the A's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, it's really interesting because the A's are a great team. And I look at him. I'm like, the A's, like, Oakland A's? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, they suck. Like, they're terrible. He's like, I don't know about that. I go, listen, they're so bad that Brad Pitt started a movie about them. Like, that's how bad they are. Then I realized he was getting the A's and the Angels confused a little bit. So I was like, okay, whatever. Whatever. You know, I can see how someone who doesn't follow it. What's that?
The Angels are pulling together.
Well, he was more talking about Trout, Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
I think Juan Soto's over. No. Rendon, isn't he the one that's over there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then he goes, well, the A's. He goes, when I saw that. So my dad loves the Orioles, but he's a Phillies fan. But he'll go to probably about 5 to 10 Orioles games down in Camden Yards a year.
Good man. Loves
going to Camden.
I'm an Orioles supporter also.
Yes, I mean it's really hard to hate the Orioles. Like it's
and we were talking about this. Like I have Maryland affiliations and stuff.
Yeah. So he'll go to anywhere from 5 to 10 Orioles games a year. So he goes, well, the last time I saw the A's play the Orioles, the A's were really good. I said, okay. When was that? He goes, I don't know. You were in college. So
going back.
Like, oh, so a minimum of 10 years ago. Minimum of 10 years ago. He goes, yeah. I go, I mean this with all due respect. Do you think any of those players that you saw on either team are still in the majors? And he goes, no. So I go, well, how the hell do you think?
That's like what, Adam Jones?
That was when Matt Wieters was the catcher for the Orioles.
It's like the Adam Jones Orioles with
Buck Showalter Orioles.
That's when what's his name was still hitting home runs.
Yes.
What's his name? He just retired. They signed him that ridiculous contract after he hit like over 50 home runs. Why can I think of this guy's name for the Orioles?
Rafael Palmeiro?
No. He had one or two incredible years. He had over 50 home runs. Oh, this drives me crazy. Is it Chris?
Oh, Chris Davis?
Chris Davis. There you go.
Yeah.
Chris Davis. He just retired, I think, last year.
Yeah. So I said to him, do you think any of these players are still playing in the league? He goes, at this rate, probably not. So I say, well, then how do you possibly say that the A's are still a good team? And he just kind of. So those are the So his, like I said, his I could do a whole segment on this show about his sports opinions. But like I said, because he obviously knows sports from when he was younger.
Yeah.
And he still thinks he knows sports, but it's at the intersection where he doesn't.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
I'm always one of those people.
Don't even get me started on his opinion of Brett Favre.
You're always one of those people at the party.
Oh,
at a party that like they think they know sports, but they literally just have no idea what they're talking about.
One of my brother's roommates.
By the way, for Papa Emery,
yeah,
it's right now 20-33 in last place in the AL West.
Yeah, it's not good for him. I told him that I was like, besides like when they had the Bash brothers, I was like, they've been kind of irrelevant for the better part
Early
of
2000s, the Jason Giambi, Adrian Housen,
Barry Zito.
yeah, Barry Zito. Oh my gosh, Tim Hudson, that squad, the Moneyball squad.
Yeah.
They were pretty good, and that was the year that Jeter made that ridiculous play through the home.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the last time they were really.
Did you see Jeter's on Twitter now?
Yeah, I did. I did see that. I'm looking forward to that 30 for 30 on him. I think next month, the captain. Yeah. Did you see? Cause I'm going to get into football real quick. Eagles Madden range. I want to get to that, but like I said, do you see Brady man in the arena?
I haven't seen it all the way through. I've seen a couple episodes of it.
I was really disappointed by that.
Yeah.
It's like
was that a Hulu or was that an ESPN production?
ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus.
They were trying to compare it to The Last Dance. It was going to be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it came across really cheesy at times.
Well, part of it is that I think part of it is that, I mean, if you're gonna prepare it, Brady's the guy to do it around.
Yeah,
like, Jordan and the Bulls,
1000%.
That's the right choice.
Yeah,
and I understand The Last Dance. I believe that was an ESPN production, wasn't it?
Netflix, ESPN.
Netflix. Yeah. I think that ESPN Plus was the wrong platform for it.
Maybe.
I think it may have been stronger as like an HBO documentary or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Plus, I also
tell you, have you seen clips of the captain yet?
No.
So I saw a couple clips, and this is more what I was expecting this to be. It's just like,
well, also it was Brady's production company that did it.
Oh man, it didn't do.
Like, I'm not saying obviously Jordan had say in
creative control and everything. Yeah.
And obviously I shouldn't say obviously. I'm making the assumption Derek Jeter has the same say.
Yeah.
But like Brady was the producer of his. Like he was hands-on editing, storyboarding, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I don't know. It was something about it that looked very hokey. Like it didn't.
I mean, what did this Jordan in The Last Dance? That was 90.
It was
96.
They followed him around the 97, 98 season.
97.
Then they went all the way back and stuff, and they were going back.
We're looking at 20, 25 years ago that this happened. Mm-hmm. Brady won the Super Bowl less than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So like part of it is that we still see. I can turn Brady on a Sunday and still see him play.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the nostalgia has kicked in yet.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point, but that's not where I'm coming from. I'm talking about from
you may have viewed it differently in 20 years. Like in 20 years, if you watch it, like say you haven't seen it and you see it in 20 years when Brady's in his 60s and well retired from the game, you may look at it through a different lens. You might not.
Yeah, maybe.
But you might. That could be skewing your perspective a little bit because, you're going to see him play in 100 days, 90 days, something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like I still think it would have stood better on HBO, on a Showtime, something. I still think it would Netflix, something where you can drop some explicit language, because Brady's. Let's just be honest. Brady has no problem letting it fly.
Right.
So I think that it would have been better on one of those versus an ESPN Plus production.
Well, they did. I mean, listen, The Last Dance, they did. It was unedited. It was. I'm sorry, uncensored. And
it was in partnership with Netflix. That's what I'm saying.
Right. They aired it on ESPN uncensored. And it came across well. I don't know. It just didn't land for me. I was excited to watch it because obviously it's interesting, but
I'm very intrigued about the Magic Johnson Apple Plus, I think it is, on his thing that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm just so tired of Magic Johnson. I'm sick. I'm exhausted by the just love of Magic Johnson. It's to me it's just
Too much.
it's a little overboard. I just feel like, listen, and like people always get whenever the word overrated is a buzzword, and it's
Oh man,
it's such
Prince,
a
if you're
word
listening, tune out right now, Prince.
yeah, it's such a word that gets people all up in a tizzy. Overrated doesn't mean bad. It doesn't mean that I don't think the person was great. I just feel with Magic Johnson, how he's viewed, to me, it's not in the perspective of where he should really be. It's just not. And like, I don't know. I just
So are you telling me you're more in the mindset of Mad Dog Russo, where Bob Cousy's the best point guard?
no. that's ridiculous. No. It's absurd.
I know you saw that episode.
I would listen to an argument that John Stockton was a better point guard than Magic Johnson. I listened to that argument.
How about Steph?
Yeah, I definitely take Steph over Magic Johnson. Now?
Well, no, but here's the question. Do you classify Steph as a point?
Yeah. I mean, he's a hybrid, but yeah. I mean, he has been a playmaker for them. Not in the same vein that Magic Johnson obviously was for the Lakers. But, you look at
Steph Curry is an incredibly difficult player to rank, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's no comparison to him.
Yeah.
It's hard, like, is he like a lot of people were asking, is he better than LeBron if he wins this? Is he better than Kobe? And
here's what you say to that. Here's why I say the LeBron thing.
Different. Like there's no other Steph Curry. Like he's one of one.
So
like LeBron is one of one. Jordan is one of one.
Right.
Giannis is one of one. Embiid is one. Shaq is one of one.
Right. So if Steph wins this ring and possibly, I mean, they're set up to win another one in the next 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. So if he gets 5, what happens is the resume is better than LeBron's. I don't think you can say he's a better player than LeBron. I think that's a stretch to say the least. I think.
I guess I should say
there's several arguments that his resume.
Let me rephrase the question then. Let me word it in a better way. Who has had a better career?
I mean, you'd have to say Steph Curry if he gets 5. I mean, you can't not say that, but that doesn't mean he's a better player. But his career and his resume is better. No question. You can't question that. You can't. And it's even more impressive that he did it on one team, and most of the team was homegrown talent. All these things matter, at least to me. And it's so weird with LeBron in this generation, like, because like you have.
He's kind of pissing me off now too.
Okay, well, we can get into that, but he has, even though he is, I think we both in agreement he is the best player of this generation.
LeBron,
you can have these conversations because you have Steph Curry, you have Kevin Durant. Do we count Giannis in this generation? I think we have to. Well, here's the thing. Before you say something, think about this. If you don't count Giannis in his generation, how can you count Steph in his generation? Giannis is like 2012. Steph's like 2009. But Steph's reign started in like 2015 when he started winning championships, stuff like that. And Giannis is like 2012. People forget. Giannis has been around for a lot longer than people think. He's been around for a while. So I don't know. Like,
they're 4 years apart. They're 4 years apart in draft class, 7 years apart in age.
I'm talking Giannis and Steph.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 2013. Giannis.
Giannis was 13.
And Steph
09.
Yeah,
but they're 7 years apart in age because Giannis.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're talking about but draft class. It's comparable. That's not too far apart because we're talking Giannis is now in year 9.
When I do like comparable draft class, I usually don't like to go more than 5 years. So
okay.
Like, they're at the very end of where 9, 10, 11. They're at the 5 year mark.
Yeah.
So I would if Giannis was one, like I would not consider because Embiid was 14.
Mm-hmm.
I would not classify Embiid and Steph because they're 6 drafts apart.
I wouldn't either.
That's too much.
I
But I'll give you 5 years. I'll give you that 5th year. He's the very, very end of what I would be comparable with.
But my point is, it's like it's interesting because LeBron is. I think he's the best player of his generation. But you can with him, you can have these conversations that you couldn't have with Jordan. Like these conversations of, all right, well, Steph, does he have a better career? Does he have, because he will. Because listen, if Steph gets a couple more rings, you can't that's just an obvious. That's not provocative. He's had a better career than LeBron James, and then you add, and then the thing is with him too. So you have that layer of it. Then you add his impact and influence on the game, which I think is bigger than LeBron's. Because, like I always say about LeBron, you can't say, hey, go out there and be like that guy, 6'8", 260. Like, LeBron's a freak. People can't play like him. Steph Curry literally changed the game of basketball in a lot of different ways. He made the three-point shot sexy. He's made shooting sexy. Where guys are you're seeing AAU games, guys pulling up from 30, trying to at least.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you have kids in your league that you're playing against trying to emulate. Probably not to the degree that but
they're pulling. Madison Lapp will pull. She'll come off the screen pulling. So yeah, no question. You have that component of it. That he is like on that to me like the Allen Iverson level of
no, I don't even
influence.
Anybody that's pushing back against you is just incorrect. I don't even think that's a wild take by you.
But yeah, no, neither do I. But like the thing is, like you have these Steph. Like it's interesting to have a LeBron Steph conversation because like, well, let me ask you this question. So we already gave LeBron his flowers and saying he's the best player of his generation. But when you look back at this generation of players, who will be more like in 20, 25 years from now? Who will be more memorable? Will it be LeBron or will it be Steph?
I think that I don't think you're good. Both. The answer is both.
Okay.
Because you're going to look at LeBron and he's going to go down as a pantheon player. I mean, they're both going to go down, but we talk about different levels in the pantheon of GOATs. LeBron will be higher on that list for multiple reasons. Number one, he will have a longer career than Steph does.
Yes.
Number two, I mean, LeBron will probably retire as the all-time scoring leader. I'm not sure where he sits. Isn't he already like high up on the list of like of rebounds and he's already at top on all these. He will probably go down as many of those statistical categories as the career best. Obviously, Steph has the threes, but I mean, what's LeBron got? 4 MVPs, 5 MVPs. Steph got 2.
Right.
LeBron has multiple Finals MVPs. Steph has none. But Steph has, like you said, changing the game, influencing the game, all of that. So the short answer is both. They will both still be around, but both will be highly remembered in 20, 25 years, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's like Shaq and Kobe. They're both still highly revered 20 years later, but for different reasons. Kobe was the assassin who will eat your soul out. Shaq is the physically most dominant player of all time.
Yeah.
2 completely different things, but they're both completely still relevant. That's how I view LeBron and Steph. 2 completely different animals, but will both be remembered 20, 25 years.
I even look at like, with KD, who, if you would have asked me going into this year, I would have said that best player generation, LeBron, 1A, 2, whatever, KD. Now,
KD is slipping a little bit.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, listen, It was a risk.
KD's problem was saying, "Let me go to Kyrie Irving." That was his problem.
Choosing Kyrie over Steph.
Yes.
I mean, and like, you know, I see where he's coming from in the sense that, like, yeah, people are, listen, it's common knowledge. People are not going to associate and give him proper credit for those rings he won in Golden State.
No.
They're just not. And they're going to lean those rings more to the, even though he obviously contributed big time to those rings, they're going to lean those.
They would not win back-to-back titles. They wouldn't have won those 2 titles without Steph. Well, they probably would not have won those 2 titles without Steph or without KD. I would say that it would be unfair to say they would have lost both. So I would say I would argue that they probably would have split.
They definitely needed him. Like they had some tough series out in the West against those Houston teams. There was some dogfights out there, even with KD.
Well, I'm more talking about like they needed KD every year to go against LeBron. Like they needed, like
LeBron at that point was a superhero.
Yes,
like he was out of his mind, and in those 2 series specifically, he was out of his mind.
Yes,
he's playing that good of basketball.
Like if they don't have Kevin Durant, we're talking about LeBron having 5 or 6 rings right now.
Quite possibly,
instead of them going for their 4th.
Quite possibly. Yeah, but like, you know, so I get him wanting to be like, okay, I need to go create my own legacy now. I need to go create my own legacy. So he goes to Brooklyn, partners with Kyrie, and it's not looking good. Like, I mean, you haven't, but the health has been an issue. You guys playing together has been an issue, and the future's not looking great. It's just not, because now, obviously, Kyrie is going to leave Brooklyn after the season. Mm-hmm. Sean Marks has come out and said, we are not giving this man a long-term deal. No. Which, you blame him? Of course not. But they're like, we're not giving this man a long-term deal. So now, if that's the case, you're saying we're not giving him a long-term deal, which makes sense, and I'm glad they took that stance. What do you, like, Kevin Durant's kind of in this no man's land, and the team is just kind of incomplete at this point, because now you're not going to have Kyrie after this year. So then what do you do with Ben Simmons? Why wouldn't you look, if I'm Brooklyn, with everything that's happened, I look to trade him maybe in the offseason and say, all right, maybe I can get a sucker here. Because, like, I mean, that's kind of, you know,
already.
Say again?
I just said I can't believe they're going to move him.
I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, because
no, I agree. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, that's how I'd be thinking about with him. That's the wave I'd be on. I'm not going to trust this. I'm not going to trust him. Because now I'm looking at it like, where if you're Brooklyn, if you're looking at it like, okay, we got 1 year. We got 1 year to possibly pull something off here. If we do this right, we can get a team together that can contend for this year. But this is all we got is this year. Do you want Ben Simmons a part of that process? I don't. I can't trust him. You can't bring him in there tonight with the pressure of saying we got 1 year. He's not going to do well under circumstances like that. And let's really be honest. Do we really believe that he wants to be there anyway? And that's where he wants his home to be, is Brooklyn? I don't think so. We all know he wants to be out in LA. He wants to be out in California. You know, so
let's send his ass to Utah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, but it's interesting with KD because the legacy is slipping a little bit. It is.
It is.
Well, it's slipping a little bit. And,
he's still a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No question. If you talk talent, top 10 talent of all time, no question. Individual top 10, no question.
Kristaps Porzingis actually has his nickname. Kevin Durant should be the unicorn, not Kristaps Porzingis.
I agree. I agree. He is. I mean, he is. Kevin Durant is. You know, it's so interesting with you talk about evolution of people, players, whatever, and the game and how far it's evolved. Kevin Durant, 30 years ago, is a center.
Mm-hmm.
in the block, and the things that he's like 7'1". The things he does with a basketball is absurd.
Effortless scoring.
Yeah, you literally can't guard him because his plank is so high with the basketball.
There's literally one guy who can guard him, and they're on the same team.
Right. So yeah, I mean, the Steph LeBron conversation is always an interesting one.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
But yeah, he I mean, if they win this year, you would think he'd get the Finals MVP. You would hope, because that's one of the things he doesn't have his resume.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see.
Never even got a vote, I don't think.
No, because you had that weird. The first year you had the Iguodala year, which you could have maybe given it to him that year. The Iguodala thing, you usually don't see role players getting it. I mean, Iguodala did have a great series, but you don't see things like that. And then you had KD.
Yeah.
Which you could not give it to him because
I mean, he was
those huge shots.
Unreal. He was unreal.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But we're gonna move on to a little football.
Okay.
Because the Madden leaks are out. First of all, do you see the covers? I
did.
As predicted, John Madden. You saw the I think it was like 4 different covers.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one where he's busting through the wall. That's the original Madden.
That's the original, yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. So that's pretty cool. But the Madden ratings are leaked out. Eagles ratings. Okay.
I'm disappointed in myself that I did not see these yet. So we're gonna have some fun with this.
I'm gonna give you a name.
Okay.
And you give me what you think the rating is.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start with Darius Slay. Big play Slay. Coming off a monster year, big play Slay.
I believe last year I think he was a 91 last year. I'm gonna go. They hate the Eagles all the time. I'm gonna go 89.
Spot on.
Is he?
He's 89.
Yeah, he was a 90.
To help you out here, there are no Eagles in the 90s.
There are none?
No 90s for the Eagles.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you told me that because I definitely would have gotten some wrong, man. So I'm glad I don't have to go. Okay.
I only have a couple. I only have 6.
Okay.
That's out.
Okay.
AJ Brown.
And you said there's no 90s?
No 90s.
87?
Close, 88.
88. Okay.
88 for AJ Brown. James Bradbury. Newly acquired corner from the Giants. Come off, not a great year. 2 years ago, excellent year. Last year, though, really, you can really blame him for that dumpster fire? I don't.
I'm gonna say Bradbury. You said I'm gonna say 86.
Look at you, spot on with the 86.
I almost said 84. I'm glad I last second I
oh, you're 2 for 3 right now. Yeah. All right, Devontae Smith.
Yeah, part of the reason that I was able to get that is because you told me there's no 90s. I would have went 90s for AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad. Devontae
Smith.
He was a 78 to start last year, and he ended in 81 at the end of the year. So he's going to be over 81. 84.
All right. Are you sure you didn't see these?
No, they didn't.
Again, spot on 84.
Like, I've been playing Madden since I could ride a bicycle. You know what I mean?
Impressive.
Like I buy one video game a year, and it's Madden.
It's Madden. This is impressive. All right, Miles Sanders.
All right, he was 80.
Miles, don't call me Colonel Sanders.
He was at 83 last year. Started the year 81. Went up to 83. Then he got hurt, and he went down to 82. I'm going to be hard pressed that they're going to move off of Miles Sanders. I'm going to say he's the same that he was last year, 82.
He is an 81.
He's an 81? Okay.
81. All right, last one. Your starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, God.
Mr. Jalen Hurts.
All right, well, he was a 73 last year. Is he over 80?
I'm not giving you that. Come on, I gotta make it a little difficult for you.
All right. The Justin rating would have him at 78. That's what the Justin rating would have him at.
Okay.
I'm going to say that they like him a little more than I do. I'm going to say 83 for him.
82.
82.
Which
Wow.
I still think it's a little high for him right now.
Yeah. Like I said, I would have put him at 78.
That's where I would have him too, around 78.
Wow.
82, I think, is very high for him.
That's
But
way
you
too
know,
high.
it goes to show you, I feel like nationally, people are really high on the Eagles.
They are. I'm a little surprised that AJ Brown's not like a 90.
Mm-hmm.
A little surprised at that. Yeah. I mean, Fletcher Cox, he definitely doesn't deserve a 90 anymore. Though,
No.
despite the fact last year he was a 94, but he doesn't deserve that rating anymore.
No.
I'm a little surprised that like Kelsey's not a 90 because he was a 93 or 94 last year. I'm surprised he's not a 90 anymore.
Well, wait, hold on a second. Before you get to that, I'm just saying from the guys that I have.
They got okay. You don't know for
I'm
sure.
not sure about those guys. I think like Kelsey's probably going to be over 90.
Yeah, and like Lane
Wasn't over yet.
Lane Johnson was a 91 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously he had his issues this year, but when he played great.
Right.
So I don't know, like Mailata.
Yeah, I want to see where Mailata's going to be this year.
Yeah, last year he started the season as like a 76. By the end of it, I think he was like an 83, 84.
Yeah.
Now he deserves to be at least an 86 or an 87, in my opinion.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm a little surprised. Like you said, you don't have everyone, but I would be surprised if that Kelsey and Lane are not in the 90s. And
Yeah,
I'll be straight up annoyed if they're not in the 90s. Specifically Kelsey.
they've
There's
sneakily
really only two centers in the ratings that should be higher than him. Frank Ragnow from the Lions, he's consistently the top rated center in Madden. And then Creed Humphreys from the Kansas City Chiefs is your up and coming center in Madden. But Kelsey deserves in the 90s. He's a top 3 center and deserves to be in the 90s regardless of anything else. So if he's not at least a 90, 91, I'm going to be really annoyed at the rating system this year.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of making me a little. I mean, I don't know how you feel. It's kind of making me a little nervous how high the national media. Now I understand. I think rightfully so. People are high on the Eagles. I think how can you not be after the draft, after free agency? You know, the acquisitions they brought in here, who they already have. But it's making me a little nervous how high people are on the Eagles. It's making me really, really nervous.
Yeah. Usually when the national media is behind a Philadelphia team, it's not good.
Yeah.
But like it's just like they found the right pieces this offseason. Like it's hard for me to not be excited.
It is. It's very, very hard.
The biggest reason I'm not sitting here pounding the table for Super Bowl is number one.
Right.
Because here's what it comes down to, Marcus. They're either going to have a great year or Jalen Hurts isn't going to be here next year. Like there's no middle ground.
Right. No, you're 1000% right in that accord. I just look at it and I don't know that you can say that like I'm sure I don't want to be dramatic, but I can't think of a time with a team, especially in football, where just so much hinged on the success of that player.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right.
Like now listen, obviously quarterback.
I'll give you one more. The year after the Ravens got rid of Flacco.
Okay.
Because I believe that was Lamar's MVP year, or was it that following year he had it? I don't remember. I think it was the following year.
No, I don't remember either.
But that's the only one I can really think of.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, a guy who we just don't know what he's going to be, and like what we've seen, you know, what that evolution is going to look like. You know, how are you going to take this guy that looked like a high school quarterback last year and turn him into an NFL quarterback? And listen, everybody is raving about Jalen Hurts' offseason program.
Let's see
how much better he looks.
Let me ask you this question, okay? He worked with he had a guy, a throwing
quarterback, a thrower.
He had somebody.
Yeah, right.
However, it's a baseball guy. It's a guy who's, yes, he works with quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's more known to work with pitchers. I don't like the way that sounds. Like, Mitch Williams came out and was lauding over this guy. He's like, this guy changes pitchers, like, regularly. He is the Drew Hanlon to pitchers.
Pitchers, yeah.
But Jalen Hurts isn't a pitcher. He's a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still holding out. I'm still reserving judgment to see. But, like, that's not what
I talk about the mechanics of throwing a baseball as throwing football. Like, do they have similar skill sets? I guess. I mean,
no. The closest thing in sports to the mechanics of pitching a baseball is swinging a tennis racket.
And my question is, what exactly is the work? Are you working on trying to stretch his arm out, or is this an accuracy? Are you working on his accuracy?
I want his footwork improved.
Yes, and for me too. For him.
And honestly, more than anything, I need him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He needs to improve physically throwing the ball and all that. I need him studying film more than anything. I need his decision-making to improve.
Yeah, what I was going to get to is that my biggest pushback on Jalen Hurts and him being successful is his pocket presence.
Mm-hmm.
He has zero of it. He doesn't climb the pocket. He doesn't go through his reads. It's one read and I'm out. And you can't. And in today's NFL, you can't play quarterback like that.
Yeah. Well, Sarah asked me the other day. She was like, "Do you think that he's got bad eyesight? Like, do you think he needs like LASIK or something?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't think so." Because Jameis Winston has come out and said that, like,
yeah,
he didn't realize that he had bad eyes.
Right.
I don't think that's the case.
No, he panics. Jalen's a panicker.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, could he?
Patient.
Could you improve his eyesight? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's a problem too. But I can tell.
I don't think that's the crux behind it.
Look no further than the Quez Watkins play in the playoffs last year.
Oh yeah,
all because he didn't go to the right side of the field.
I had forgotten about that, and now you're digging up bad memories.
He didn't look. He did not look over there. He didn't look over there. He had his head literally to the left side of the field. He never scanned over to the right side of the field.
Let's go back to Madden real quick, okay? The Madden that had McNabb on the cover. I want to say it was 06.
I've actually been doing some YouTube old Eagles 2000s McNabb.
Yeah.
Man, was he a bad mother.
Oh yeah. Well,
bad Mamma Jamma McNabb.
I'm going to
ACL.
Oh yeah. After I make this point, I'm going to pose to you a question about McNabb. But the Madden that had McNabb on it, 06, 07, whatever year that was. QB Vision. Remember the QB Vision? Mm-hmm. Whoa, did that have to go? Because that was a terrible feature of Madden.
Yeah.
But like, you'd have guys like Peyton Manning. His QB Vision would be the whole field.
Right.
And then you had guys like, I don't know, who was a crappy quarterback in the mid 2000s.
The mid 2000s.
Dante Culpepper. Let's just say Dante.
Oh, Dante.
His focus was so narrow.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, his focus is so narrow. Like, I would never use him with QB Vision.
Right. And now what you have now is you got outside threats now. You got AJ Brown on the outside, obviously paired with Devontae Smith, Watkins. So he's gonna, like, that middle of the field where he wants to focus. He's got to expand, figure out how to get these guys the ball outside. I don't know. It's gonna be fascinating to watch this unfold.
Now let me
I'm excited.
Okay. if you knew that Jalen Hurts' peak was McNabb, would you take it?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I can say that because, like I said, I've been watching. Last week, I'm going to get into this too.
Now, McNabb, people forget that dude was husky.
He was.
Like, there was a point in his career where getting to McNabb was just half the battle.
Yeah, he was a big boy.
He had tree trunks for thighs.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts isn't built like McNabb is. Like,
No.
McNabb was known to be in the weight room with the guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Hurts doesn't lift weights because he's a shorter, thicker guy too.
Yeah.
But like McNabb was, for a quarterback, was legendary. Like, people thought that was McNabb too built.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you would take that.
Going back,
if I came to you and said Donovan McNabb is Jalen Hurts' peak, you would sign up for that.
If you're telling me I'm getting 2000 to 2004 McNabb back, and signing up for that right now, you're talking the best quarterback in Eagles history.
Yep.
And it's not even close. And like, if you go back and you look at, I watched the wild card game against the Bucks, where pretty much he's out there with himself. You're talking
that game.
Ball, Charles Johnson, young Chad Lewis. Just the offensive skill players were just not great, and he's out there just doing it all. I watched the game against the Bears, 2001, the year they got to the NFC Championship game. They got there before they were supposed to against the Rams. I went back and watched a lot of those old games in that era, and man, he really is. It's crazy to think about that, how underappreciated he is still to this day, about how much we took for granted, how incredible he was during those years. Incredible.
Some of that is because he has a personality that rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah, that's fair.
He has some Embiid / Doc Rivers in him.
That's fair.
But from a play standpoint, I agree with everything you just said.
He was what happened was, it was the McNabb fatigue. And a lot of it came, when it really started to happen was,
part of it also was his mom.
Wilma.
Yeah.
Sam and Wilma. It was Sam and Wilma. It was both of them. But no, I agree with you. But it was that 2004 season.
To a lesser degree, they were like Lindros's parents.
A little bit, yeah. His insecurity with
yeah.
That was kind of the beginning of his downfall.
If he would have done what Steph did when KD came in and was like, man, whatever, he would have multiple Super Bowl rings and he would be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Because Steph was very secure that, this is still my city.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
This is still my city. But McNabb, and the thing is, we were so thirsty for a number one wide receiver. We were just so excited to finally have one. We knew that's what we needed. And all it wasn't, we don't like you, Donovan. It was, we were so happy you finally have someone to throw the ball to, Donovan.
Then why aren't you happier?
Yeah, right. So, and then, obviously 2004, that 2006 period was the falling apart. Then he tears the ACL. He's not the same guy anymore. He's still pretty good. He's above average, but he's not Donovan that he was 2000. He was, do you remember against the Redskins in that 2000 season when he's going down the sidelines, he shakes Mark Carrier, blows past him, and then he drags three guys into the end zone with him? It's just plays like that.
Honestly, no, I was like 10 or 11 years old.
A broken ankle game where he throws four.
I do remember the broken ankle. I do remember
the 18-second scramble
against Dallas. I do.
Yeah,
I vividly remember that.
He was just ridiculous. Ridiculous. He was on Jordan brand.
Jordan, part of it is that when McNabb got drafted, I was only 9 years old.
Yeah.
So by the time we got rid of McNabb, I was just getting out of high school.
Yeah.
So a lot of his like super super early stuff, like I saw it, but I saw it because I went back and saw
Right.
it. Like the
Right.
2000, like the NFC Championship games, I remember all that. Like the super when they played the Patriots in '04 in the Super Bowl, I was in high school by that point in time, so like, I vividly remember that. But like super young, early McNabb, I mean, like
I wish. I mean,
I know my dad. Like I remember my dad watching the Eagles games and all that, but like I don't.
to go back to your question, I wish I knew Jalen Hurts would be peak McNabb.
Mm-hmm.
Please give me peak McNabb. I would love it. Peak McNabb's a borderline Hall of Famer. Peak McNabb. Like if he kept that up, if he kept that production up, he's a Hall of Famer. It's just again
Great passing numbers though.
the injuries, the work habits, not the greatest.
Chunky soup.
Yeah, a little too much chunky soup. The that ACL injuries is not talked about enough. That was the end.
No. And that was like before ACLs were.
Yeah, that was still ACLs were a problem.
Yes.
And then with his frame and his mobility, that was a killer for him. That was the beginning of the end. But
I'll never forget Pac-Man Jones waving over the Eagles medical staff.
Yeah,
because I think it happened on the Titans
sidelines. Yep.
And like Pac-Man, like players know, like
yeah, they know. Yep.
Like the second half, like you have Titans players running over to the Eagles medical staff. Like you need to get over here.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like again, I'm excited about the Eagles, but we got plenty of Eagles coming up.
Oh yeah.
I gotta tell you. So last week, when I was had COVID, a lot of TV.
Oh yeah.
Went back and rewatched some things. So I rewatched The Last Dance again.
Okay.
Because I'm a weirdo.
Okay. I'm a weirdo too, so it's okay.
I rewatched The Last Dance again, and I am convinced that Chicago is under the curse of Michael Jordan. The Bulls, at least. So let me set the scene.
Okay.
So Jerry Krause, the general manager of the Chicago Bulls, he is the guy responsible for building most of this. He didn't draft Michael Jordan. He wasn't there then. He came, I believe, the year after Jordan was already drafted. So he's responsible for the Pippen, Horace Grant, the Charles Oakley trade to bring in Bill Cartwright, Steve Kerr joining later, B.J. Armstrong, all those guys. He's responsible for that and building around Jordan. So he's upset that he's not getting the credit that he deserves. So he decides, if you guys out there remember, decides that I'm going to blow this thing up. I don't care what happens. He literally told Phil Jackson, I don't care if you go 82-0, you're not coming back after 98. He wasn't even sure they wanted him back after 97, but they worked. But Reinsdorf goes over his head and says, we're going to bring him back for one more year. Bulls go out, they win a championship despite all the turbulence through that season. Pippen not wanting to be there, being super underpaid, feeling like he was time for him to move on. Pippen actually, demanded a trade during the season and rescinded it and came back in January because he was recovering from that foot injury that he didn't get surgery on the offseason. And the season happens, they win the championship again. Even after seeing all that, Jerry Krause still says, no, I'm not bringing this back. So it causes a ripple effect. Because even though, so Jerry Reinsdorf at the end says that he did offer Phil to come back, but Phil said, I don't think it would be fair to Jerry because he doesn't want me here. So that caused a ripple effect because Jordan said all throughout the year, I'm not playing for anybody else but Phil Jackson. If Phil Jackson's not here, I'm not going to be here either. Very important point that Jordan makes during the film also. The beginning of the film, he says, when he's talking at a press conference, I forget when the context of everything else, but he says, he's like, everyone's so confident in a rebuild. The Cubs have been rebuilding for 43 years. What makes you think that you rebuild something and it's going to come back the same? Well, look at the evidence. That team after 98 falls apart. Phil Jackson, no longer the coach. Jordan leaves. Pippen gets traded. Rodman gets cut. They start the rebuild. Look at all the things that's happened since this rebuild. Krause leaves in like 2003. They don't have anything going all the 2000s. Then all of a sudden, what happens? 2009, 2010, you draft a savior, Derrick Rose. It looks like it's all coming back together again. You draft Derrick Rose. You put together a nice squad around him. Luau Deng, who's a good player. Joakim Noah. You put a squad together. Derrick Rose gives you an MVP season in 2011. 2011 Derrick Rose. See, we live in a society where we just so quickly forget. I implore any of you who are basketball fans to go back and watch highlights of 2010s, early 2010s Derrick Rose, especially 2011, and how good he was. That team would have challenged that Miami Heat team for years to come. That's how it was supposed to go. It was supposed to be the Heat and the Bulls fighting it out for the foreseeable future while LeBron was in Miami. But what happens? Against the Sixers, Derrick Rose tears his ACL and is never the same player ever again, wiping away the Bulls completely from the landscape of contention. And they've done nothing since. This year, they're pretty good. You think that they're actually one of the top teams in the East for a long period of time. We're at one point talking about DeMar DeRozan being an MVP candidate.
Yeah, that was a weird point in time, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then what happens? It all falls apart again. And now Zach LaVine looks like he's leaving. And they're basically at a point again where they're gonna have to start over again. So I bring it back to 98. This is the curse of Michael Jordan. And it is the curse of Michael Jordan because for me, when you were given a gift, like the city of Chicago was given in the 90s, to have a dynasty like that, 6 championships in 8 years. And I believe they would have won in 99, and then you would have had that young Lakers team of Shaq and Kobe going against those Bulls, and maybe they lose that, and it organically ends that way. Maybe that's how it ends. But the fact that you just said, you know what, we can do this again. Like it was just like something that just happens. We can do this again. No big deal. We're going to rebuild. It's fine. What? You tell the greatest player of all time to go away? You trade another top 50 you trade another top 50 talent and don't pay him? You release the worm? What are you doing? And now you're being cursed. It's a curse of Michael Jordan. What do you think?
I have a question.
Okay.
All your logic, very sound. Easy to follow train of thought, very sound logic. Question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about then the Sixers? They got their own curse then.
Yeah, I mean, I can't figure out what it is, but there's definitely something going on with it. No question.
Like everything all your logic makes perfect sense. They're being sprayed by the basketball gods.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell did we do as Sixers fans then? Like, what? Like, why are we dealing with this?
We gotta figure out what could be, and that could be something fun we could do is figure out what is the curse of the Sixers.
I need you to get on this. I need you to get on that.
Like, people want to liken it to
actually,
Super Bowl.
Back to Brad, I have an even bigger case for you.
Okay.
Get to the bottom of what's wrong with the Flyers.
Oof. I mean, we can do both of those things. I can work simultaneously. I can work on 2 cases.
Like
I can take 2 cases in.
You're gonna need to call in some big dogs for that one.
Yeah, but I mean, and yeah, we definitely, because people want to say it's the Eagles, but I think that's a lazy take. I want to find out.
Won a Super Bowl 5 years ago. I was at the
Right.
party.
I want to find out from that franchise what they did to curse themselves. Because let's keep it basketball. What happened to the Sixers? We can explore that. But yeah, the Jordan thing, you can't make a decision like that. Like at the end of the day, even if I hated Phil Jackson, even if I hated him,
I'm
you win
bringing
another championship. All right, how can I not bring you back?
I mean, oh, oh man, I'm with you. I'm you know what? I'm with you.
And then what does Phil do? Phil takes a year off. And where does he go? He goes out to LA.
Wins a couple more
Wins
chips.
more rings, 3 more.
Then what happens? A few years later.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because Phil was the scoring party. Because here's the thing, Jerry Krause actually, this is covered in The Last Dance. Jerry Krause is the reason that Phil Jackson got the job as assistant coach in Chicago. He saw something in Phil and thought it would work. He brings him in. And ultimately makes the decision because Phil became really close with Tex Winter. Tex Winter was a longtime legendary assistant coach in the league and for the Bulls and is the inventor of the triangle offense. Doug Collins didn't want to run that. He wasn't into it. Phil gravitated towards Tex Winter, became his protege, and Jerry Krause is watching this throughout the season and decides to replace Doug Collins with Phil Jackson to get that triangle offense in.
The Zen Master.
Zen Master. So and then somewhere along the line, they fall out because Jerry Krause starts getting a little jealous. He gets green. He gets bit with the green bug because he made that weird statement that players don't win championships, organizations do.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was.
Which is a wild thing to say. Which is yes, you obviously you have a hand in it, but no one has a bigger hand than the players on the court. What are you talking about? It's weird.
It is weird.
And you have that weird open forum where they just kind of Jerry Krause becomes literally the guy that everyone on that team picks on pretty much, especially the big dogs, Jordan Pippen. Every time you get on tape where they're just openly mocking him in front of everybody, which, in a way he brought it himself because it becomes a us versus them type of thing. There was one clip where Jordan is being interviewed by the media and he was being asked about the situation and how it can resolve itself. And he just looks up at the window, Jerry Krause's window, and didn't say anything. Everyone starts laughing. But yeah, this is the curse of Michael Jordan. That's what this is. And they're going to have to repent. They're going to have to say they're sorry. That as an organization, Jerry Reinsdorf is still around. He's going to have to say he's sorry because ultimately, Jerry Krause made a decision, but you're the owner of the squad. You got to step in here and say, listen, man, I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what your deal is, but if you're asking me, I got to get rid of the GOAT, Pippen, Rodman, or you're out, my guy. You're out. We'll get rid of you. Phil stays. Get your act together. We're going to ride this till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
We are going to literally ride this until the wheels fall off. And Jordan says at the end of the film, he goes, I was already doing 1-year deals. If I'm coming back on a 1-year deal, Dennis comes back on a 1-year deal. Kerr comes back on a 1-year deal. We all do. And even though Pippen was having his issues, you think if we're not all coming back, he wouldn't agree to come back on a 1-year deal? Of course he does. It's just something interesting. That's why I like rewatching things. But I feel like you take away different things each time you watch it. And for me, rewatching that was the theme of it for me, was the curse of Michael Jordan. Watching all these episodes, I'm like, I'm thinking about what they've done since then with the Bulls. And it's just been a nightmare for them. And they were, again, because in a perfect world, right? Perfect world, yeah, you rebuild for 8-9 years, but then you get Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose is healthy, and he's still there playing really good basketball right now for them.
Yeah. I mean, I started off the segment with no. And now I'm in full agreement with you. We just got, like I said, we got to get to the bottom of the Sixers curse because
Yeah, no, this will be fun. I mean, we got time because this is kind of a dead zone in sports.
well, it's not like
Here's what I'm gonna do.
It's not like I'm going to willingly sit here and listen and talk about the
So
Phillies.
today is Friday. Today's Friday.
Today is Friday.
Good. A week coming up. Give me a couple days. By Wednesday, I'm gonna have a couple conspiracy theories. I'm gonna have at least 3.
All right, the hell with Twitter.
Prevent 3 cases.
Yours. The hell with 3 conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 3 cases as of why this is happening in the Sixers.
All right, I like it.
And I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be successful because this is something that is a conspiracy theory. Is it the curse of the process? I'm gonna try to leave that out.
No, because they were cursed before that. So
yeah, but the idea. So there's just a lot of.
Save it for your case.
I gotta say this though.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of bad juju around the process. Because
there is.
The only people that wanted to be successful really is Philadelphia. Everyone else, for some reason, which I don't understand, hate what the Sixers did. Like we're the only. Like Oklahoma City is doing this right now. And
I know. The thing is, they're not outwardly saying it. That's why.
Right, but that's silly. That's silly. Like, how do you think Boston ended up with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce? Because they tanked 2007. They tanked. They got a really high draft pick. They were able to make moves with it. So this happens especially in the NBA. The Sixers were the first ones to say, "Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to win." Which I think is you're gonna be mad about. They were being honest. Silly, but anyway, there's a lot of bad juju around it because Adam Silver hates the Sixers.
Hates them.
Openly hates the Sixers.
Hates them
to the point where he did something that you never really see, where the owner steps in and says, "Hey, this is stopping right now." And sends in people to stop it. Which really, if you think about it, messed up things way worse. There's no apology for the Colangelo situation. Like, you sent Colangelo to us. You sent him in here for that. And he messed things up way worse.
He owes
scandal.
The league owes the Sixers.
Yeah. The league hates Joel Embiid. How in the world are you the points per game? You win a scoring title. You're a runner-up in the MVP, but you're NBA second team? Please explain that one to me.
I mean, if I'm him, I don't even care about the awards anymore because they've shown that you're not going to win them.
Like, I believe the upper brass of the NBA, whatever, like you picture, like, obviously we stick with this cultish vibe we have right now. Every year the Sixers lose in the second round of the playoffs, they sit in a circle of fire and toast with blood.
Yes.
But there's like 5 people doing that. Yeah. And we got to figure out who these people are.
I don't like them.
No. I mean, and then you look at, I mean, the curse of the process, the Ben Simmons situation. The Marco Fultz situation.
Ben's I just hate Ben Simmons.
Right, but like all of these weird things come with curses.
Well, you got Detective Bradham on the case, so I'm very confident.
I know you hate Ben Simmons, like most of us do, but think about how you felt in 2017-18 about Ben Simmons. And how we all felt about him.
Oh, we loved him.
Yeah.
Before we knew that he was a DH. So
and then you got Thoracic Fultz.
Yeah, that was that was called fleecing by Danny Ainge.
Right. But still, like, how that turned out. Like, Fultz completely literally it was like the Monstars. They took his powers away. Fultz completely forgetting how to play basketball.
Was that Brian Colangelo's first draft?
I believe so.
Damn it, he got fleeced.
Maybe first and last draft. I don't think. Did he have 2 drafts?
He had multiple, didn't he? I think he had at least 2 if he didn't have 3. He's also responsible for Okafor.
Oh, well, he's responsible for Okafor. Then he's responsible. So that's at least 2 drafts. That's 2 drafts then.
Okay, he's responsible for Okafor and Markel Fultz. Actually, no. And he's responsible for Ben Simmons. Because Sam Hinkie has said before, I don't know if I would have drafted Ben Simmons. He goes, the analytics tell me that I may have, but he's like, I can't guarantee you I would have drafted.
Was Colangelo sent here to destroy the Sixers? Was he sent here?
Damn it. Yeah, he was.
Was he sent here to make things worse?
He's the Terminator.
Think about it, like the burner account thing.
That is the wildest story in the last 10 years in sports. That's a Mount Rushmore of wild sports stories. That's up there with my man taking acid and pitching a no-hitter.
Yes. Yeah, so I got a busy couple days ahead of me. I got to open the case files. I'm gonna have to get to the library. I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna get those. You remember back when you had to do a project back in school? Those weird Xerox type machines where you're looking for articles.
You're
those things
scrolling for forever.
Scrolling forever. I want to get those things out. Look for old articles.
It's like with the dial.
Yeah, I hate those things. Oh, the worst.
The hand is just saying you're spinning more.
Yep.
No.
And then, like, for some reason, like, I don't know if this happened to you, but early internet days, you could use and print things off the computer, but your teachers wouldn't let you do that.
I know.
Why can't I use technology?
Well,
why are you making it harder for me?
You know what the worst thing in the whole world was about school projects? Having like works cited, and like you had to have it in a certain like. Oh, I remember one time I did this awesome report, and like it wasn't. You know how you have reports where you would fake some. You're like,
yeah, of course.
I resourced it. Like I wrote this immaculate report. They gave me a B on it because my works cited page was incorrect.
No, see, that's not right.
They're like, oh, you did the wrong format. You need to do it in this form. So they docked me a whole letter grade for having a incorrect works cited page.
That's terrible.
No.
It's not.
I also used to get in trouble in school for not writing in cursive. I'm like, if I write in cursive.
In elementary school, you got that?
Yeah.
Once I got
to high school, it was like
high. They were like, we don't care what you're writing, just write.
Yeah, just write. But no, yeah, when I was in grade school, I used to get in trouble for not writing in cursive, and I was like, listen, do you want to have your eyes be diminished in the next year?
Like sixth grade, it was all cursive.
Like, I can probably pee in the snow better than handwriting in cursive.
Yeah.
Now, like
I don't think they really even teach cursive in school anymore.
They don't. I'm
no.
Like printing. I have like decent like printing handwriting, but my signature, like if you were like, hey, sign this and ask for my signature, you wouldn't know that it was me that signed that paper.
I got chicken scratch. I fully admit I got chicken scratch.
So, what else you got? Anything?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right, then let's just run through some facts for the day, and then I got to tell you about the
curse of the jump man.
All right, I like it. Curse of the Jumpman. Stay tuned for January 10th or June 10th, and we'll break that down for you.
Yep.
Let me tell you the wildest story I've read this week so far. A woman in California. Did you hear about this with the sofa?
No.
She purchased a sofa off of Craigslist.
Okay. Sketchy in itself.
That has nothing to do with this. That's
not a move I would do, but all right.
I bought a sofa off Craigslist before. It's fine.
I have too, but like I wouldn't do it
now. She's like, upon moving it into her house, her and her husband are like, man, this is a lot heavier than like it should be. $36,000 in cash buried in the sofa.
What?
She returns it to the person she buys it from.
Idiot. Why? If you're gonna make a mistake like that and forget you buried $36,000 in your sofa, you deserve me to have that $36,000.
So the person who's had the money ended up giving her a large chunk of it for returning it, but she returned it.
They split it.
I don't think it was a complete. It just said that she received a substantial portion of it.
What? So let's talk about why this person had $36,000 buried in their couch. Will that come out?
No.
I can't believe she returned it.
I found
Right.
$20 when I was walking Swoop the other day on the ground, and I thought I hit the jackpot.
Found money is the best kind of money.
I'm walking. So we get to, we're going down like one of those like little like things on the corner where the handicap is, and I look down. There's just a $20 bill sitting there. Marcus, I almost broke my hand with how fast I picked it up.
Every kid's fantasy is to sit on a bench, look down, and see a bag of money.
Yes.
Want the bag of money?
One time I came out of the ocean in Wildwood and I had like $10 bill wrapped around my ankle. And I was like, this is awesome. So every time I would go in the ocean, I thought I would come out with money. Obviously, that's not the case.
Yeah, it usually doesn't work that way.
No. But so that's that. And then I got a couple facts, and I got my top 5 before we get out of here.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start in the world of history because there's only really one thing. 1965, man first walks in outer space. Notice I didn't say walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Walks in outer space, 1965. Okay. Then not a lot has happened in the world of music today, so not a lot to go off of there. However, the world of sports, we got some things. 1987, Cubs and Astros, 3 grand slams in a single game.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
1989, Nolan Ryan throws his second one-hitter of the season already.
Nolan being Nolan.
1989 again on this day, Vin Scully broadcasts 23 innings in 2 different cities in one day.
Wow.
We have I don't remember this. 2010, sportscaster Ron McLean saves a man from drowning in the Delaware River in Philadelphia in 2010. Do you remember that at all?
No.
Neither do I.
Mm-mm.
I feel like that would have been a major story.
Yeah. I think
Don't have any recollection of that whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
You have 2018. Steph Curry breaks Ray Allen's NBA Finals record for most 3-pointers. So that's the world of sports. And then we got a couple of birthdays, Marcus.
Okay.
Couple of birthdays. June 3rd, we have Rafael Nadal. We have First Lady Jill Biden.
Okay.
Anderson Cooper. Al Horford.
Big Al.
Big Al.
Celebrating big today with the 6 threes.
Yeah. And yesterday, there was a birthday that we need to celebrate. Yesterday was Wayne Brady's birthday. And Wayne Brady, I mean, yes, has he fallen off to where he used to be? Yes, he's not, still Wayne Brady like he was in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
But one of his greatest skits that he did is him as a guest. It's not even his own skit.
Right. That's to me his greatest.
Yes.
We talking Chappelle show?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which brings me to my top 5 for today. In honor of Wayne Brady's appearance and yesterday his birthday, today the top 5 list is the top 5 Dave Chapelle skits of all time.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Now, I was talking to Sarah about it. She always, every Thursday, she's like, what's your list going to be tomorrow? And I tell her, I usually don't tell her what is on the list, but I'll give her what the topic is because
Okay.
I'll know it. I obviously know ahead of time. And she's a Chappelle show fan. So we were going, so last night we're going over some skits. And I actually showed her for the first time the Wayne Brady one yesterday.
Never seen it?
She had not seen it prior to yesterday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's classic.
So here are my top 5 all-time Dave Chapelle skits in order.
Okay.
Number 5, the racial draft.
Definitely
Up there, but it does not deserve a top 3 spot, but it is up there. One of the funniest
Julian Gonzalez.
One of the funniest interactions on that on this one is when they're like, "Oh wow," and a massive change of things. Eminem white, OJ black, and like the guys like give each other a fist bump, and Dave's just like that look on his face every time I see that gets me.
Yeah.
Number 4, episode 1. I can't believe they greenlit the show for 3 seasons after this. Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist.
My all-time favorite is Clayton Bigsby.
That I can't believe.
I don't know. Literally, I don't know. There's a time in my life where I laughed harder at anything.
I showed her that last night too, as well. She had seen.
Never seen Clayton
She
Bigsby?
hadn't seen the thing all the way through. She'd only seen.
Oh, Clayton Bigsby.
The second it ends, she looks at me and goes, "Could they have made that today?" And I go, "Absolutely not."
I don't. Yeah, it would be. It would be difficult. Well, the fact that. Well, yes, they could have, because the fact that he's a black guy doing it. That
They had so many white people in that skit, though.
Yes, yeah. But that was the genius of the sketch. That's why it was so genius.
Exactly.
It was unlike anything that we had ever seen before.
Exactly. And for it to be episode 1,
right off the bat, he hits with Clayton Bigsby.
And then so here it comes in. Wayne Brady comes in number 3 for me, actually.
Okay.
Because remember, we're not talking Wayne Brady's, we're talking Dave Chapelle skits.
Yes.
Wayne Brady comes in at number 3.
Mm-hmm. Which was big for his career at that time, because a lot of people call him the cornball. He's cheesy, all that stuff with the who line it anyway, and
I love how he's like, Wayne, while you're doing this, you got a daytime Emmy. It was again genius. He's like, we need some money. He's like, oh, well, I don't see an ATM. He's like, I got it. He honks the horn. He's like, hose Dave hose.
Yeah, like it was awesome. Again, a genius stroke by Chapelle.
Yeah. Number 2, playing basketball with Prince.
Okay, the pancakes.
Yeah,
Charlie Murphy.
Shirts and blouses.
Yep.
And from all reports that I've heard, Prince legitimately could ball.
Yeah,
like, he was a ball, like all 5'1" of him. That man was a hooper.
There's other stories about him out here playing too, and like he used to go to a lot of Timberwolves games.
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge Timberwolves fan.
So that's funny. Rest in peace to Charlie Murphy
and Prince.
And then this is my personal favorite.
Okay.
Dave Chapelle skit of all time. I can watch it on repeat 100 times a day, and I'm laughing at every joke.
Okay.
That is the war with Iraq and Black Bush. That scene where he's like, be real, son. Should I be real? Be real with them. That man tried to kill my father. Every time I see that, I die laughing. That is a legendary skit.
I don't know what the sketch is, but I just remember laughing so hard when he was giving this motivational speech to kids, and he quoted Jay-Z, and he goes, "Did I tell you you sold drugs? No, Hove did that. So hopefully you won't have to go through that." Do you remember that one at all?
Yo, isn't that hold on. That is isn't that Tyrone Bigham given
yeah.
That's Tyrone Bigham at the school.
Yeah. Yep.
On career day or whatever. That's Tyrone Bigham on career day, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. There it is. So I have 2 honorable mentions. One.
It was Tyrone Bigham. It was hard to keep Tyrone Bigham off, but he's more of a character than a skit.
Right.
And if I was going to put Tyrone Bigham in one, it would be the Fear Factor one.
So I have 2 honorable mentions. One was Tupac in the club.
Yes.
Which was hilarious.
Yes.
And then the other one.
Tupac. Okay, I will.
It could be doo-doo. That was great.
He's like, I'm talking about George
Washington. Yeah, you don't know him. Yeah.
You don't know him. He was there out in Oakland in the 80s or whatever.
Well, the looks in their faces was hilarious. That one and the Star Wars molestation scandal.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
That's another one of my favorites of all time.
Also, when Keeping It Real goes wrong.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, we can go on. I mean, it's hard to do a top. It's just so many of them.
But yeah, no, that was my that's my top 5 list of.
I like it. Fully support it. I'll make no changes.
So it's much better than the fictional dog list.
Yes. Yeah. We actually. Oh, it's funny. We actually had a conversation. Amber, myself, and 2 of friends. I brought that up. We were tossing that around, and everyone was like, "How does man not put Lassie in his top 5?"
Yep. Didn't.
Lassie didn't make it. But she was with you on Amber because Amber's a huge Full House person. She was very happy you included comment.
Yep. And like I said, I couldn't put, too many. Like Clifford couldn't make the list. Like there was just too many of the same.
Yeah.
So.
I hear it.
Yeah. Next week I have I'll tease next week's list real quick.
Okay.
We have the best nicknames in sports.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So that will be next week. But
all right, sounds good. Well,
hold on. Real quick, we want one last thing.
What's that?
Julian Lurie.
Oh yeah. You wanna introduce that?
You can do that real quick. So Julian Lurie, obviously Jeffrey Lurie's son, has a title with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
He's a member of the Football and Business Operations Strategist, whatever the hell that means. You know what that means? Here's a business card. That's exactly what that means.
Yes.
Now, he spent 2 years in the NFL internship program the last 2 years, and he has, I think he went to Harvard, but don't quote me on that. He may have went to Princeton, Yale, one of the very prestigious
Blue Blood School.
Yes, and he's a business graduate of their business school. Very smart person. Like I said, spent 2 years in the NFL's official internship program. You want to bring him on to learn the business side of it? What's he in he's in his late 20s.
27, I believe.
27. I'm not going to push back on you. You want to bring him in and let him learn? You're going to give him the franchise one day.
Yep.
Fine. My issue with it, Marcus, is why does he have a say in the football things? This man is not qualified to talk about football. He's not qualified or make the football decisions. And when they asked him, Jeffrey Lurie, about it, his reasoning was, well, he loves football and he's a huge Eagles fan. So am I. Do I get a say in football personnel decisions?
Right.
That's the only issue that I have with it. If you want to give him a spot and let him learn the business aspect and grow that way, that's fine. I do not want this man making any football-related decisions. Because the last time someone in that family made a football-related decision, we ended up with Jalen Reagor.
Well, but that's the problem, is that he's been watching Daddy operate for the past, at least, ever since Andy Reid left. Called the curse of Andy Reid. No, I'm just kidding. Ever since Andy Reid left, Jeffrey Lurie, well, no, I'm going to rephrase that. Ever since the Chip Kelly situation.
Yes.
Jeffrey Lurie has been a lot less trustful of what's going on behind the scenes. That situation changed him forever. And he will never allow full control again the way he did with Andy. He was spoiled with Andy for 13 years because Andy didn't betray the trust. Chip did. And that turned Jeffrey Lurie into a different type of a man.
Yep.
And obviously Julian's been around. He's been watching Daddy make these decisions, be in these rooms. I want to be in these rooms too. Listen, I don't have a problem with nepotism at all.
No,
this really is. I think people
it has been happening
are just jealous and unhappy.
It has been happening in sports ownerships since there were sports ownerships.
And in life, it's just a part of life. Like listen, like if my dad owned a football team and I knew I would own that football team, that would make me very excited.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't care about that aspect of it, but it is easy getting the trial by fire. Are they actually going through the right protocols to make sure this kid's gonna be ready to do these things?
I said, business school, NFL, like he has, I guess, as good of a setup as you could possibly have.
Yeah,
you could possibly ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so
right.
So what?
Right. Yeah, you just like I don't want him in the draft room.
Oh, you will. You'll have him there.
I don't want him, I don't want him saying, "Hey, Daddy, want to hear what I think? No,
because I don't.
I don't. Well, I mean, I guess it'll be interesting how this.
Like I said, that's my only concern because, and I understand why you want to do this because Jeffrey Lurie's in his 70s now.
Right.
Look at what happened with the Flyers when Ed Snyder passed away.
Yeah.
There was no line of succession.
Yeah, it was a power vacuum.
So,
Yes.
like, I understand all of this. That doesn't mean I have to like it, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it has worked out. You know, the Genie Bus situation out in LA. That you can point to that and say it worked out there for them.
Yeah, but that's the Lakers.
Yeah, right. But I'm just saying it has worked out before.
Steinbrenner.
Yeah. Will it again? Will it here? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's just something. It all depends on. A lot of it depends on Julian Lurie's personality. It depends on his upbringing, the relationship he has with his dad. His dad, no nonsense dad that is gonna tell him what's what and not let him get too big for his britches, so to speak. Or is he a candy store daddy? Where this is your playground, Julian. And what kind of guy is Julian? Is Julian the guy? Is he bringing 10 girls up the box and is my football team one day and we all got the champagne and is that who he is? Or is he about that life and wants to learn? Because listen, if he wants to learn and wants to grow into a position where he can make educated football decisions, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But you got to go through proper protocol. But listen, I'm thinking about me at 27 in that situation. I'm acting a fool.
Yeah.
I'm acting a whole fool. I'm in the box, 3 on one side, 3 on the other, bottles of bubbly, getting weird. Like, Fox, don't pan up this camera box. You're not gonna like what you see up here. Don't put it on me. You might have some FCC violations.
Yeah.
And I think that's most 27-year-olds. So I mean, definitely something to keep your eye on. I see why people have their eyebrow raised.
Well, I have a statement on that. Why does it have to be 27? That's me at 33. Like,
yeah. I mean, listen, now at 41, I think I'd be much better behaved in a position like that. Wouldn't be then. Wouldn't be 14 years ago. No, would not be well behaved at all.
No.
Scandals everywhere. You have to get what's the dude that cleans the mess for the Eagles? Is it Dom? His name? Dom would get to know me very personally. I'd be calling Dom. Dom, I did it again.
Oh, I mean, I've told you the LaShawn McCoy stories with him.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, whew, that man's got his work cut out for him.
Yes, he does. But anyway, yeah, we'll keep an eye on. We'll see. But
anything this weekend planned?
Not really. Just kind of. I mean, I just want to have a fun. Last weekend was
immaculate weather all weekend.
Last weekend I was miserable.
Yeah,
I was miserable to be around. I was miserable because I was just so unhappy. For the first time in years, we had a nice Memorial Day weekend, and I couldn't do anything. And I had plans. I had places to go. I had things I could have done. Couldn't do any of it because I had the big C.
Nice. Well,
so this weekend, I definitely want to be more. Amber did a great job in the backyard. Put some lights up out there.
Ooh, nice.
It looks really nice out there. We actually, the past couple nights, we go out there sitting back there, outside, and nice weather. So I plan to do a lot of that. Nothing great. What about you?
So I actually woke up to a pleasant email today from DraftKings.
Okay.
That the first, so Saturdays there's a show that comes on crack of dawn that I have to produce. That I got the word that is not broadcasted this weekend, so I don't have to wake up at 5:00 in the morning tomorrow.
That's a great. That's already
an awesome time. So so that's going to be fantastic. So so I have that. This weekend I don't have a damn thing to do really. I'm just going to be chilling out, laying low, doing nothing. Next weekend, got some things to do. So next weekend I'm going to have to. Sarah's sister's got engaged, so we have a party for that next weekend.
Nice.
So I'm not going to be able to just vegetate and do nothing next weekend. This weekend,
A lot of vegetating.
lot of partaking, lot of brain cells lost.
Big vegetation talk.
Yes, Monday I'm going to come in here and I'm probably going to be burnt to a crisp, looking like a lobster. My face and your shirt will be the same color.
Okay.
Because like I said, we're looking at Marcus mid-80s with no clouds all weekend. Like if you got something to do outside, if you want the kids to leave you alone and just be like, take your asses outside and go do something this weekend.
This
is
weekend
the weekend.
I like it.
Like you said, why do I buy all this stuff for you?
And everyone's got a health safety protocols, so we're able to do that.
Trampoline, basketball.
Love it.
Zabe can do his bike thing. Get him out there, Marcus.
Yep, they will be. They will be.
And we need July 11th to come because these Mondays without saws.
Yeah, I don't like that either, but I'm excited to see obviously how it unfolds.
Amber jump into Stranger Things yet?
She hasn't. She keeps saying she wants to get into it. I'm sure this weekend she'll probably start diving in.
You can let her know that it is confirmed there's a 5th season.
Okay, I will relay the message.
5th and final season. There will not. They've come out and said the 5th will be the last, but they have greenlit a 5th.
I might try to give it another shot. I don't know. I might.
So we watched the recap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a damn thing that happened in the recap. Like
that's the problem with these shows is just they go away for such a long period of time, and you're just like.
We were sitting there. Sarah was like, all right, you want to watch? Because we're sitting there. I was like, all right, I only got 2 episodes of Game of Thrones left. Thank God the Night King is dead. I don't have to worry about that jackass anymore. I really hate that guy, Marcus. I know you don't know who that is, but just know he's a jackass.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, he's gone. He died a couple of days ago in the previous episode. I only got 2 episodes that left. So we're like, all right, what are we going to watch next? Saul's on break. Ozark's over. She's like, let's dive into Stranger Things. We both watched it before. So we put the recap on. At the end of the recap, she looks at me. She goes, "You don't remember any of that, do you?" I was like, "Not damn thing. I don't remember that." She's like, "Are you out?" I was like, "I am out on this last season." So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm out on it. I like.
Well, maybe for me it'll be good because like I can just binge all of them through.
They have a 31-year-old actor playing a high school kid, Marcus.
It's wild.
Because I mean, the last time it came, he's all grown up now.
Right.
And the plot in the story is, he's a 3rd-year senior in high school.
What?
All right, apparently our music. All right, so let's wrap this up. Apparently our music was like, "Yo, wrap this up." So I guess.
What is it, the Oscars?
I guess so. So
let's get out of here. All right, well, on that note, Mark between everywhere.
Add Justin Emery Show on social media.
Brad Emery Show it. I don't even know what to do. So
I'll call you on Monday.
Everywhere. Brad Emery Show the merch. Hey, go to YouTube and give us a like.
Yes.
And subscribe to YouTube. The YouTube channel is percolating right now.
It is. It is on fire.
Get over there and check that out. Like and subscribe. And hey, maybe we'll throw up some more content for you.
Yeah.
And until next time,
you don't get cut off on Monday.
Yeah, you'll be with us. I'm trying to rush through this. Get out of here. You'll be with us if you get this, but you're never going to stop us late.